First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua Ba'Shem Makakudash. Yahweh to this world ignorantly calls God. Yahweh Shai to this world ignorantly calls Jesus. Ba'Shem means in the name, Rakah means spirit, and Qudash means holy. And that's all in the Paleo Hebrew. I also want to give double honors to the elder bishops and apostles of Great Millstone that taught me this truth. In today's video, I wanted to go into how you must suffer for a reason, okay? Suffer for a reason, okay? Not just for nothing. And the reason I'm making this video, it is inspired of 2nd Ezra, the 7th chapter. But I'm gonna start at verse 12 to just get the context. I'll start at verse 7. It says, "The entrance thereof is narrow and is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were..." 6, I mean. "There's also another thing. A city is builded and set upon a broad field, and is full of all good things. The entrance thereof is narrow, and is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were a fire on the right hand, and on the left a deep water. And one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once. If this city now were given into a man for an inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive this inheritance?" Right? And this is a parable going into the road to salvation, right? The kingdom of heaven. It's going to be dangerous, like if there was water on one side and fire on the other side. Okay, dangerous. And only one man can go there at once. Okay, going into how you got to worry about yourself when it comes to salvation. You got to make sure that you're doing the right thing. Okay, because somebody else can't save you. So, jumping down to verse 12, it says, "There were the entrances of this world made narrow, full of sorrow and travail. They are but few and evil, full of perils and very painful. For the entrances of the outer world were wide and sure, and brought immortal fruit. If then they that live labor not to enter these straight and vain things, they can never receive those that are laid up for them." Right? So we got to go through the difficult. You got to go through the straight gate. As it says in Matthew, that narrow is the path to salvation, but wide, is the path to destruction. And it says that straight gate, which it's not STRAIGHT, it's STRAIT. Two different words. And the straight here means a path of difficulty, okay, hardship. That is what is required from the elect in order to make it. So it says, "Now therefore why disquietest thou thyself, saying thou art but a corruptible man? And why art thou moved, whereas thou art but mortal? Why hast thou not considered in thy mind this thing that is to come, rather than that which is present?" Then answered I and said, "O Lord, that bearest rule, thou hast ordained in thy law that the righteous should inherit these things, but that the ungodly should perish." Right? The Lord is coming to take out 2/3 of his people here in Babylon the Great. Okay, he's coming to completely wipe their slate, because that is the only remedy for them. Right? Hey, this world has gotten to a point of wickedness where the only solution is to just completely burn it. So it says, "Nevertheless, the righteous shall suffer straight things and hope for wide. For they that have done wickedly have suffered straight things, and yet shall not see the wide." And that is the point of this lesson, is that the righteous, we're going to go through the straight things, through the difficult times, right? The scriptures talk about how the hour of temptation, let's get that, which shall come upon the whole world. Revelation 3 and verse 10, "Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world, to try them that dwell upon the earth." Right? So it is written that hard times are coming to everybody, but the elect are going to be kept, are going to be protected in those days. Doesn't mean we're going to be excluded from it. It means that the Lord, whenever we're in a jam, he's going to deliver us. So going back to 2nd Ezra chapter 7 and verse 18, it says, nevertheless, the righteous shall suffer straight things and hope for wide. Right? We gonna go through it, but hey, we're suffering for a reason. We're suffering for the kingdom of heaven's sake, to receive salvation out of this place. It says, for they that have done wickedly have suffered the straight things, and yet shall not see the wide. And that is the point, the topic of this lesson, is that suffer for a reason. Because the wicked of the earth, the wicked of our people, they are going to suffer, but they're not going to see the wide. They're not going to see salvation. So at least make your suffering, be for a reason, not just in vain. So this right here really puts it in perspective, the Lord's mindset, how, hey, the Lord has an evil, okay, he has a massive judgment against this world. Massive, because the wickedness that is built up is beyond anything that humanity has ever seen. I think it says that in Revelation. Second Ezra chapter 14 and I'll start at verse 13, because this goes into the mindset you should have. It says, now therefore set thine house in order, and reprove thy people. Comfort such of them as be in trouble, and now renounce corruption. Right? So you got to get your shit together. And this is talking about primarily your spiritual house. Right? You got to get your temple in line with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Okay? Build that sure foundation. All right? Scriptures say that every man shall be fully persuaded in his own mind. So you got to be locked into this thing. You can't be wishy-washy, on the fence, lukewarm, or else the Lord is just going to get rid of you and give that spirit that he put upon you to another person. So make good use of this gift that the Lord has given you, or else he's going to take it away. It says, let go from thee mortal thoughts, cast away the burdens of man, put off now the weak nature. Right? So all the mortal thoughts we have, how am I going to pay my rent? How am I going to, pay my taxes? How am I going to eat? How am I going to drink? How am I going to, clothes? And just whatever you could possibly think of. I'm just going through every single scenario. You might not necessarily have those problems, but we all got problems one way or the other. Am I going to make enough money? It's always normally those mortal thoughts goes to things of the flesh. So money, food, clothing, a place of living, things like that. So it says to let go from that. Okay, you have to detach from this world. Completely let it go. And cast away the burdens of man, put off now the weak nature. Right? So that right there tells you that being in that mindset is weak. Right? Worrying about the day-to-day is weak. Because Yahweh Shai said, hey, cast your burdens upon me. Right? Let me handle that. Just have faith. Have faith that I'm real, that I'm there with you, that I'm protecting you. And that's all you got to do. Right? So doubt, anxiety, fear, these are not things from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, from the Lord. Right? That is Satan trying to get you to go astray, trying to get you to be off, to be in the wrong vibration, the wrong frequency. So cast away the burdens of man, put off now the weak nature. And we can read this perfectly. One of my favorite chapters, Matthew chapter 5 and Matthew chapter 6, Matthew chapter 6 and verse 31, it says, therefore take no thought, saying, what shall we eat, or what shall we drink, or wherewithal shall we be clothed? For after all these things do the Gentiles seek. For your heavenly Father knoweth that ye have need of all these things. But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Take therefore no thought for the morrow shall take thought for the things of itself. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof. Right? So don't worry about these things. Right? Take no thought for the morrow, for tomorrow. Don't take thought where you're going to eat, drink, you're going to have clothes, if you're going to have enough money, if you're going to be able to solve this problem. Don't pour too much energy into that, because Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is in control. And if you seek him, then he's going to take care of you. right? There's a psalm that says that when King Solomon or King David said that he's never seen the righteous begging bread. Psalms chapter 37 and verse 24 says, though he fall, or verse 23, the steps of a good man are ordered by Yahweh, and he delighteth in his way. Though he fall, he shall not be utterly cast down, for Yahweh upholdeth him with his hand. Right? So if you serve in the Lord, the Lord has had mercy on you. If you fall, you're going to get back up again. He's going to put that spirit in you to get back up and keep pushing. And you should have that spirit of, hey, I got to get back up. Because it says that a righteous man falleth 7 times, but getteth back up again. But the wicked fall into mischief. Right? So once you see that, hey, damn, I'm off my purpose. I haven't been locked into the scriptures, locking into what I got to do. Reflect, examine yourselves whether ye be in the faith, as it says. So examine, readjust and get back on track. Because it is very easy to get off that narrow path. Right? There's a reason it is called narrow, because it is slim. It's one specific way. And this world is constantly trying to drag you into the broad, into do this and do this and do that, and focus on the world and focus on the money and the lust of the flesh, the lust of life, the lust. Okay, Satan is trying to distract you from where you're supposed to be focused on. And I'm gonna tell you this: one of the biggest distractions is what I'm talking into right now. This damn phone. Okay, this phone is one of the biggest distractions humanity has ever seen, because it is built to keep you on it. So you have to use everything as a tool. You got to be able to rule your spirit and know, okay, I got to limit myself to this. I've been indulging, too much in this. Let me limit. So it says, though he fall, he shall not be utterly cast down, for Yahweh upholdeth him with his hand. I have been young and now am old, yet have I not seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. Right? So if you're doing the right thing, guess what? You're never going to be forsaken. Neither are you going to be out here completely out of it, begging bread, homeless, because the Lord is always going to sustain you. And one of the things I always think about is Isaiah chapter, I believe it's 65. Isaiah chapter 65 and verse 13, it says, therefore thus saith Yahweh, behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Behold, my servant shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit. Right? So this is dealing with, in these times that we're entering, the end times, times of difficulty. His servants, those that have had faith, are going to be eating, drinking, rejoicing. But the wicked are going to be hungry, thirsty, ashamed. And I bring this up because if you believe in these scriptures, that means that you believe that in that day somehow you will be covered. So if you believe that it's going to happen in the future, why don't you apply that same mindset today? Okay? You have to have that mindset today. It's not something that's just going to randomly pop up in that day. No, the Lord is building our faith right now so that when that day comes, okay, we have the level of faith to be able to operate. So you should have the mindset of right now of, hey, the Lord got me right now. Right now, he's taking care of me and everything I need. Oh, you might not have some money. Don't worry. The Lord's going to make you have, you're going to find it somehow. And I'm going to tell you right now, the Lord has a way of pulling you out of jams like you don't even understand. He's shown it in my life recently. And quick, right? You stress about money. It says that it is nothing, in the sight of the Lord to make a poor man rich. And, I can give an account, but I'll tell you right now that that's a very true scripture. And I'm not rich. I'm not saying I'm rich, but the Lord lifted me up out of a position where I was very down, in my finances. And now I'm in a point where, I have enough. Okay. I have enough for everything I need. So have faith. Okay. Have faith in Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai throughout everything, because he's always there. And sometimes, the Lord just puts you through it. Okay, sometimes, you could be doing everything right, but you still catching hell. Well, guess what? The Lord's just testing your patience. And that's something you got to think about. Let me say that again. You could be doing everything correctly. You could be focusing on the Lord, doing everything locked in, and you'll still be catching hell. Well, guess what? That's what you signed up for. That's what we got to go through. And at the end of the day, it's just a test. It will end. The Lord's not going to have you in that position forever. Eventually, he'll pull you out of that fire, for a little bit. And then another test. And that's part of the straight gate, the narrow path that the masses, the world, are not going to go through. And that's why they will be suffering for no reason, because they're going to go through the hard times, but will not receive the wide, as it says. So let's finish off what we were reading. Let's see, where was I at? What was I reading? Wow, I just completely blanked. So, mortal thoughts. That's where we're at. 2nd Ezra 14 and 15. And set aside 14, let go from thee mortal thoughts, cast away the burdens of man, put off now the weak nature, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times. All right, so whatever thoughts you got, put that to the side. Focus on the Lord. For yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter. Right, so prepare yourself, because this shit is only going to get worse. For look how much the world shall be weaker through age, so much the more shall evils increase upon them that dwell therein. Right, and this is Esdras saying this more than 2,000 years ago. And exactly what he said is taking place. As the time has gone by, this place has gotten weaker, and the evils have increased to lengths that nobody could have possibly imagined. We live in Babylon the Great. America is Babylon the Great, the most wicked empire to ever exist. And Yahweh B'Ashem, Yahweh Shai is going to destroy this place 100%. So suffer for a reason. Suffer for the kingdom of heaven. Hopefully this is edifying. With that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh B'Ashem, Yahweh Shai, B'Ashem, Kakodash, and double honors to the elder bishops and apostles of Great Millstone that taught me this truth. Shalom to the elect. Shalom.